Hey guys, welcome back to the Next Rank YouTube channel with Johnny and Jack. Today we're watching a amazing game. I actually couldn't believe that this game was real when I saw a scoreboard. We had to see it for ourselves. But we're watching Vatira POV of Game 1 of Vitality against KC. This is the new KC with Juicy. So Vatira, Atto, Juicy against the new Vitality, Zen, Exotic, and Jack's old teammate Stizzy. He's playing with Zen now. And there's already too many points on the scoreboard because they didn't reset the lobby after I think they had to restart it or something. There was like a
technical issue.
They had to roll back a goal. And they said, you know what, let's just not restart it. Atto can have an extra 150 points, but the whole video here is about Vatira's points.
And Vatira can have an extra 2 points, Johnny, because he got 2 points in that. So he actually had the. You guys have seen the title and the thumbnail. I mean, there's going to be something about it in the title. Vatira ends this game with 26 points. Now we're going to be taking a look at it because it's impressive in a genuine way. We're not just we're not saying that for like in a sarcastic way. It shows that you don't have to do much on the scoreboard in this game to play well, to be positionally effective for your team, to be just effective in total and a nuisance to the other team. And that's what we'll see Vatira do here. Whilst finishing the game on 26 points. But it's actually 24 points, Johnny, because, he started this with 2 points. How is that not a shot, by the way?
Yeah, wait, rewind. That's not giving him points.
Yeah.
So, okay, it definitely is a shot by literal definition. Where does it get saved? Inside the box. Okay, so apparently that's not a shot. Too far from the goal. I don't know where the line is, how close the ball has to be to the net to count as a shot, but I would have expected that to be a shot, but it isn't. It's probably I guess it's just too far away. And there are some other things that Vatira will do in this game. That's 2 points. He hit the ball clean. But there are some other things he'll do in this game that won't give points, but will be impactful.
I mean, I'll show this, Johnny. Sorry to cut you off, but he does a lot of kind of drive-through demos, which doesn't give points because you're not touching the ball, but you're also getting a demo or at least threatening a bump on the opponent, force them to give the ball away, and just positional stuff like this. Stizzy, Stizzy just doesn't just go for this ball because he's just giving it away. He doesn't just go for it because of no reason. He's going for it because Vatira is there, and Vatira might jump. So it forces Stizzy to jump and put the ball into a position where Atto can now get a free ball. Little things like that. Well, you're not getting points for that at all, but are you making a good play? I mean, yeah, you are in some way. You're getting possession for your team, and you're forcing the other team to kind of rush their play. So yeah, Vatira does a lot of that kind of stuff in this game where, you're not going to get points for it, but you are making a pretty big impact.
Yeah, and he's got to be careful though. You said he does drive challenges for demos. He needs to make sure not to do that 7 times, because if he demos 7 people, that does add points to your total. You get 10 points, which you don't want to do when you're trying to farm as few points as possible.
Yeah.
You can, however, if you're careful, you can 50-50 as much as you want. Did that add points? Let's see. Did it? Maybe it did.
I actually did this time.
It did. He didn't get it perfectly. You've got to be careful with this, because if you 50-50 head on and the ball bounces between you and the opponent multiple times in quick succession, the game will give neither of you any points. It doesn't want to give you both loads and loads of hits. So you need to hit it dead on, and the ball has to bounce between you, like a really, really close 50. Yeah, this one is obviously like. When it pinches off like this, there has to be like some kind of interaction like that. Yeah. But if you get a clean touch at the end of the 50, it will count. So bit of a mistake there from Vatira on the previous 50, adding unnecessary points to his very impressive total.
Yeah, and you'll see that he's not making mistakes. I know that sounds stupid, but a lot of times, Johnny, when I have plenty of sub 100-point games. I think every pro does at some point in their scrims, in their career and stuff like that. Just happens, and that's the dreaded number. You can't get below 100. If you're above 100, if you're above 100, like, I mean, you had a low point game, but it's not too bad. If you see 2 digits on the scoreboard at the end of the game, something's got to change. And the important thing is that he's not making any misplays. Like, he's not making any mistouches. Like, if a lot of players have a sub 100-point game, they're also just own goal in half time. And I think that's the key difference with this game here, is that you won't notice Vatira do anything bad. Again, it's stuff like this. We're positioning effective. If Stizzy doesn't go for the ball, we can dribble, we can make a threatening play. If he goes for the ball, well, he's going to have to come in with speed. He's not going to be able to control the ball because of that, and our teammate behind us can presumably boom this away into a decent position for us again on offense. So it's little stuff like that in midfield where you guys can absolutely take note of it and apply it into your own games. You don't have to go for every single ball when it is in front of you. I know it's a crazy thought, but you don't have to. It's sometimes better not to.
Yeah, this is it's something that sounds like trolling. I mean, the whole concept that we're talking about today, it sounds like this is just pointless. Well, literally is pointless by definition.
Okay.
But I didn't mean to do that.
So mad.
But there is actually a lot to be learned from here when you're playing like zero ego Rocket League is what this is, because a lot of players in this position, they'll see the points, and this happens in ranked, happens in RLCS, happens in scrims, I'm sure, as well, where you're on low points and you can already hear your teammates saying, "Oh, you want to get some points at some stage of this game, or you just gonna let us carry you?" Like, "Oh, what's going on? Are you okay?" And you don't want that to happen, so you just try and force yourself into the play, and then, like Jack talked about earlier, you start making mistakes, or you start, getting in the way of your teammates, maybe even just making bad touches. But Vatira at no point during this game, even towards the end, when he's still on 20-something points, he's 24 points. He's not forcing himself into the play here. He's playing for his teammates. He's 50ing back.
That is his last touch of the game.
That's
by the
his
way,
last
Johnny,
points.
Right
Yeah. Again, he maybe got too much of a skim on the end of that 50, and they've just like won this. It's not a really dominant win, but it looked like a controlled win, and it looked like he was very involved in the play. Lots of forcing, lots of posturing with his positioning, and absolutely no ego here with try to points farm with epic saves. Just challenges. No nonsense. What would you do here, Jack?
Oh no, 5 seconds. I mean, 26 points, right? Like, you guys might be wondering, like, how can the players know they're on, the point they're locked in? But a lot of time, you just it's a player's muscle memory. You just tab real quick. You just press tab. You just see the scoreboard randomly after a goal, or even between the play when you're not doing anything. I swear to God, that's not, every player does that. Sometimes players do it whilst hitting the ball, on an accident and stuff. But it's 5 seconds left here, Johnny. 2-0 in the game with a player like Zen on the ball where he's not got much speed. At worst, they score on 0 seconds, right? If I'm on 26 points, I'm letting him come to my net and getting the save points from this dribble, Johnny. I'm not challenging this in the minute. Let him come to the net, and I'm getting an extra 50 points.
You could get epic save if you let it save it on the goal line.
I think 50
it gives
points
60. Yeah, 60. So you're actually missing some points here, Jack. You can let every single save happen on your goal line. You get 60 points instead of 50.
Yeah, no, exactly. What are we messing around with? Seriously, I mean, no. Just get the save points. You finish on 86. It's sub 100, but I was close. That's what I'd be saying. We're 14. To be fair though, if you're going to get sub 100, you might as well get 26. That's
you might as well really get sub 100.
You know what it is? Yeah. I feel like it's if you get 80. It's bad, but if you get 20, that's impressive. You know what I mean? Because you must be still doing a good job. It's stuff like this as well. He doesn't, like you said, he doesn't force himself into the play. He just kind of waits. He doesn't try and challenge here because it's in front of the net. Maybe we get a lucky kind of shot towards target. Just play the best kind of the highest percentage play. Let your teammate challenge from behind, and we go instantly behind.
Yeah, so many fake challenges this game.
A lot of fake challenges this game, and a lot of forcing plays to be given back to his team without actually jumping, which is a massive skill. I think a lot of players in ranked, a lot of you guys watching, struggle with feeling like you have to go for the ball on a challenge for it to be a successful challenge. Sometimes a challenge doesn't mean jumping for the ball, Johnny. Sometimes it just means having your car there, having your presence there, basically, to force a play back to your teammates in a better position. If the play is going to the corner of your defense, we all know the corner, really, at most ranks and most levels in Rocket League, the corner should be the safest position in the game, your defensive corner. If the ball's going there, well, we don't need to challenge. The opponent's taking it there. We just kind of set up. We go behind our teammate, or we go to the corner, preemptively move there, and then we can set up for their play. That's what Vatira's done very, very well this game compared to a lot of other players.
All right, and just because we don't want to make this entirely about Vatira doing things off the ball, I know he's a very exciting player on the ball, and you guys want to see a bit of that. We are going to talk about that as well in this video, so we're looking at game 2, the very next game after Vatira's 26-point masterclass, 24-point masterclass, really, like Jack said. He scammed 2 points there from the game reset. But yeah, Vatira can do it all. He can play off ball, but he can also play on ball very, very well. That's why he's such a successful player. And all the teams he's on are contending for events that they go to. That's a nice play dodge in that demo to get some points. Has he already got more points, by the way? Just seconds in?
Absolutely,
last game?
He's almost, well, he's tripled his point total here. So very, very successful first 45 seconds of game 2. But yeah, you are right. He finishes this game on a lot more. I think it's like 440 something. Is the result the same, Johnny? But we'll have to see. Does getting more points equal winning more games? I mean, we know that, we already know the answer. Sometimes it's the opposite, Johnny. You get a lot of points for making saves. Now, is that a good thing? Do you want to be on defense a lot, Johnny? I don't know. I often find there's a lot of players in RCS. I say a lot, but there's certain players in RCS that have very, very high average points because they farm so many saves. You'll see it at the end of RCS events. Yeah, and if you're on defense the entire time, well, the better defense is to stop the shot before it's getting to your net, rather than having to make the save, getting credited with 60 points for it when you've actually technically done a worse defense in most cases, right? Point tally in Rocket League is very, very interesting and often leads to, definitely a false kind of narrative. And I think a very good challenge, Johnny. You said you've done this challenge with Stumpy and Cole, right? You had a 0 point game at certain games that you played and won those games. I do think it's impressive and almost a good challenge for you guys to, and I'm genuinely serious, like to try and get kind of lower point games because it will force you to do certain things that you may not think about doing naturally, like more fake challenges, thinking smarter off the ball, and that can genuinely improve certain aspects of your game. Now, of course, you don't want to do it in every single game. It's a very, very small challenge for maybe a couple games when you get on next time you play Rocket League, but I do think that it can help improve certain aspects of your game.
Yeah, it's situational. Sometimes it doesn't even start on intentionally. But yeah, I've done this many times where I'm sure you guys can relate. You're playing threes or you're playing, well, maybe it's got to really be threes or fours now that fours has been added, because you've got enough players to play an off the ball role. But sometimes you're just winning 2-0 or 3-0 and you haven't really done anything. You got 0 points or 2 points or something, and you can go two ways with that. You can either go full toxicity, which can be really funny, to start having a laugh with your mates about how bad they are, or how bad you are, and how much they're getting carried. Or you can try and make it into a thing. Be like, all right, hey guys, we're 3-0 up. I've got 0 points. I'm gonna try and stay on 0 points, but I'm gonna fake challenges, demo, bump, boost, steal, do all the other things right, put pressure on the ball by being in the right places. But I'm gonna try and not get points and see just how effective you can be. Like Jack said, it does help you learn how to be a better off-the-ball player. Yeah. How to do more, just have an impact, put pressure on the opponents without actually doing anything, and ultimately get a funny scoreboard screenshot at the end. But I've done it before. I've managed to get, I don't think I've ever entered a game thinking, okay guys, this is it, this is the 0 point game. But I've done it off the back of going up 2-0. But we did do it with Cole and Stumpy. We went in with the goal of Stumpy ending the game at 0 points, and we accomplished that goal, and we won 4-1 or something in Grand Champ. And that was recent. This is earlier this year. So it's a fun challenge, and it does help you realize how much you can do without needing to touch the ball at all.
Yeah, 100%. I think the most impressive part about this game, Johnny, as well, is that has Vatira kind of changed his playstyle to you? To me, not really.
Similar,
it's very, very similar. Of course, you're not going to play the exact same every game, but he's carrying on doing a lot of the fake challenges, a lot of the kind of general
pre-jumps on Zen.
A lot of the general challenges for his team rather than for himself. And I think that is very important, because it shows that I don't think he's also played much like better in terms of mechanics and stuff like that. This game, it's just sometimes Rocket League works where you get more opportunities in certain games and you get less opportunities in other games, right? That's just how the game works. And sometimes the game works where you're going to get this happen to your team, and you can't control that type of pinch to your backboard going mid. So what I mean is that you don't want to get caught up, on the scoreboard, on the result sometimes, because as long as your playstyle and as long as your level is similar game to game, and you're working on the stuff that you want to be working on constantly, I think that is the most important part for you guys to carry on improving in this game, rather than focusing on the other things that sometimes aren't completely in your control, if that makes sense.
Yeah, what's his points total at now? Because obviously he's got more than last game, but yeah, he's got over 400, and I agree with you. I don't think he's played much, differently than last game. I don't think his playstyle's changed drastically. I think he's still done a lot of good work off the ball. It's just now the game's come to him a bit more, the ball's come to him a bit more in those moments where in the previous game it didn't. And the previous game showed us that he's capable of just going a full 5 minutes without feeling any kind of nerves or ego bruise to his low points total, and he just keeps doing his thing, keeps going, doesn't force himself into the play, doesn't make his teammates awkward. Then the very next game he's the one getting points and they lose. So the points, and they don't always correlate. It will. I'm sure if you looked over long term, when does your rank go up? Is it when you get more or less points? The averages will probably tell you it's when you get more points. But it's you're getting goals, you're winning, but it won't be as clear as you'd expect. And it's almost like confirmation bias. Sometimes you're in a losing streak and you see, I'm getting so many points and my teammates are bad. I'm not the problem here, but actually you might be doing things wrong off the ball. You might be making your teammates awkward. And if you focus too much on the points, you're not going to realize those mistakes and be able to improve them.
I always talk about this with, I say always, but like this has come up in a few times in conversation with me and Chronic, because I'm still obviously very, very good friends with him. We're like in a call sometimes whilst playing twos and stuff. And there'll be so many times in the past like 2 years where I'm grinding twos, losing every single game joint because my teammates, my teammates are genuinely throwing. Like they don't do it every day, but there are some days where like my teammates are actually I'm making great plays and they're just losing the game, right? Sometimes that is what Rocket League is, and it's certainly less than 5% of the time at all ranks, so it's not every time, but sometimes it does happen. However, and I always say, like, we always say to each other, but like, if you're losing, you can't be playing that good. Like, you seriously can't be playing that good. And I actually do.
Yeah.
Even though I never like admit it in the moment, like, nah, my team. Like, it's obviously true. My teammate. If you're losing like 10 ranked games in a row, you're doing insane stuff. You're topping the scoreboard. You don't lose points for making bad plays. That's the thing in Rocket League. You don't lose points for making bad plays. So you're never going to see that be reflected on the scoreboard. So it's always important to tell yourself, if you are on massive loss streaks and you truly believe you're doing great plays, you're topping the scoreboard, it's not how the game works.
Take a break, watch the replay tomorrow. You won't see good play.
There's a lot of intangibles. You're a lot of diving for random things where 20% of the time you're getting a dunk into the opponent's net and you're getting 100 points on the scoreboard or whatever it is. And there's more times where 80% of the time you're actually not getting that dunk. You're taking yourself out of the play. Your teammate's in a 2v1, and you can see the goal. You don't lose 40 points on the scoreboard for that. You don't lose anything for that. So,
or you're like, oh, my teammates are bad, I'm not going to trust him to make the save, so you steal his save away. You're like, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. At that point, you've got another epic save on the total, your points are increasing, you've actually just taken your teammate out of the game, the other team have pressure, maybe they score, and you're just like, wow, where's my teammate? My teammate's so bad. I knew this was going to happen, that's why I didn't trust him. And it's just a self-fulfilling prophecy that you will spiral with if you don't realize it's happening. We've all done it. We've all had those, you look at all the scoreboards, you're like, I've literally had more points than my teammate every game. But ask yourself, how many times do you remember checking the scoreboard that religiously when you're on a win streak? If you're on a 10 win streak, I don't think you'd care if you were getting carried per se with the points. Sometimes you're not even getting carried when you do have less points. You might have just set up your teammate for 4 open nets. They've got 4 goals, you got 4 assists. That gives them more points, but you did all the work. The points don't tell the full story, so you need to actually look at the gameplay We've looked at Vatira's gameplay today. You need to look at your own gameplay, see what you're doing wrong in games that you're losing, what you're doing right in games that you're winning, and it's not always about the points on the scoreboard.
Absolutely. Guys, that will be all for today. If you have enjoyed, be sure to drop a like, be sure to drop a sub. Check out our course at thenextrank.com. Let us know in the comments what other videos you'd like. If you'd like to see us analyze other players as well, let us know down below. And other than that, we'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.